to a new episode of These Go to 11. Let's turn it up. Hey everybody, welcome back to These Go to 11, an unchurchy conversation about everyday faith. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and review on your favorite podcast platform. This not only helps us to get our content out there, but also helps us to find out what you, our faithful listeners, think. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to These Go to 11. Once again, I'm Nathan Bell. Joining me as always, Greg Dutcher. Greg, what's going on, man?
I want to say to you, Nathan, Happy New Year. And I know that the real reason we're having this podcast is to celebrate the 25th birthday of my daughter, Samantha Dutcher.
That's right. We're not celebrating with her. We're celebrating here
Celebrating
on the podcast.
Here on the podcast with her not present. And her, I'll have to see if she listens to this podcast. Right. So when's the last time she's listened to These Good Lovin'? But because I gave her the shout out, I would. It was she was due on the 28th of January, 1999. Decided to come about 4 weeks early, 26 days early, and surprise us a little bit. So I figured, well, since it's falling on that date, when we're mainly going to talk New Year's, I got to sneak that in.
That's right. So tell me real quick, man, because quarter of a century.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Old as dirt, decrepit, geriatric. What other terms can I do for old? No, it's honestly, dude, I know it's such a cliche. Every parent feels this way, I'm sure. Like, I literally remember bringing her home. It's not like that's a distant memory.
Right.
I mean, it's interesting. I didn't have a cell phone then in 99. A lot of people were starting to get them. I didn't get mine till 2002 because I didn't even have one during 9/11. But I remember to this day, I still have this near miss thing that makes me wince. We took her home probably January 4th, I guess, 3rd, 4th, whatever. It was a day or two in the hospital. You know, they get you out as soon as they can. And, you know, it's like the precious cargo. You're worried about the car seat. And so I carried her in as Lisa and I are coming up. We had really tall steps in the place where we lived in Halethorpe, Arbutus at the time. Mm-hmm. And we're coming in, and I lay her car seat down. I had this disposable camera tucked into my front shirt pocket. You know, disposable camera, no cell phone. Yeah. It's a different. And I put it down, and it slides out and falls and lands just next to the car seat. And I remember it took me like an hour. Oh my goodness, my little newborn little girl. This camera could have hit her right on the noggin. And you know, isn't that weird? That memory I still have. Like it's so vivid to me. Yeah. And I'm like, that was a quarter of a century ago, dude. Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah. Well,
but it's fun.
Yeah, no, that's great, and I'm sure while we're recording this, I'm sure you will have something planned for her at some point.
Of course, yeah, there'll be something planned. It's 25. That's a nice one. Now, if memory serves, the insurance rates are supposed to go down to 25. Car insurance,
yeah.
Yes, 25 is kind of the magic number. Of course, they're always higher for boys.
Right.
That's a whole other subject. We'll save for another cast.
That's right.
But, dude, yeah, it's hard to believe, man. Honestly, I was saying all fall that, I guess people say this a lot, I was still accepting that the summer had ended.
Yeah.
Like, when did the summer end? And now here we are in a brand new year.
Yeah. Well, and if you remember, it was weird because we had that crazy, like, record-breaking temperatures in October.
Yes.
And then, I mean, you know, going into November, it was, you know, getting up into the 60s, which is, you know, I mean, it's not unheard of, but it's still unusual.
Yeah, it was an unusually warm fall.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we watched all of Isaac's football games but one really comfortably.
Yeah.
You know, Friday nights, you typically, Friday nights in the fall, you're going to bundle up. We did one time.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember nights I was just wearing shorts, sandals, and a T-shirt.
Yeah.
It was perfectly fine. So, yeah, it's strange. And if you notice, dude, I'm trying to be positive.
Yeah.
Because you know what this season means for me.
Yes.
The next couple of months
Dude,
are always a little rough.
I'm hopeful, though.
Yeah.
We're due. We're due for some major snow.
That's what they're saying. Remember, I saw something way back like in October that we were supposed to, for whatever, Farmer's Almanac, whatever they use. But doesn't it just feel like in our bones that we're due? Because the last few winters have been a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
In the Mid-Atlantic. I mean,
and I mean,
you're a New Hampshire boy, dude. I mean, you are like living in an arid desert down there.
I know. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I know. I did try to tell myself a few times that the older I get, I don't like shoveling with my wonky back. But I do have.
That's why God invented snowblowers.
Snowblowers and teenage sons.
That's right.
That I can cajole into doing it. But actually, our neighbor Mike is great. He's got a pretty high-powered snowblower, and he, for the last few years when we were having snow, I normally would wait a little bit before I'd go out there, and 9 times out of 10, he had blown off our sidewalks,
taking care of it,
even right up to the front door, and it makes it. You get one of those wallops,
right? That
can be a big deal. You get one of those 2 foot plus snowdrops, but when's the last time we had that, dude?
2016?
16, that sounds about right.
I think 2016, and then the time before that, we had the really big back-to-back ones where...
That was 2010.
Yes.
That was, I think we talked about that one. Snowmageddon, dude, because Ella was a year old, because she was born in January of 2009, so this was about a year later. Late January, I think, early February, maybe it was back-to-back like that.
February, I want to say it was somewhere around the 14th, February 14th, somewhere around there. It was a
little later, though, I thought, yeah. Yeah, and I remember, I think you're right, and we got, we had them, they were like, 36 hours apart, they were both big.
Yeah, over 2 feet.
It was, and that was 2010, not too long ago. And
no.
2016, 8 years ago now. But yeah, I'd love to see us. I always like one.
Yeah.
Give me one that shuts everything down for a day, keeps everybody home. Obviously, don't want anybody getting hurt, injured, people having heart attacks, shoveling, all those horrible things you hear. And I can't believe that, cause I know some people, I hate snow. Really?
Yeah.
One, isn't it nice to look at?
Yeah.
I know it stinks when you got a shovel. It stinks when the worst, dude, is when you're out, when it's melted a couple of days and you get that gray black sludge. You're like, okay, that sucks.
Yep.
Nobody likes that. But when it just blankets your house, your property, it's nice.
Love going out, especially when it's snowing in the evenings.
Yeah.
Love going out and just Joy and I will go walking up and down the streets.
So quiet.
And so bright.
It is.
All the lights just magnified, reflecting off all that white surface.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, just such a beautiful experience.
And notice we start even thinking we might get it now, because we weren't going to get it at Christmas, because we never do.
Yeah.
I've just, given up on that.
Right.
I remember the Christmas 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
Dude, where it was like 75 degrees.
Yep.
And we literally turned on our AC.
Yeah.
Because we said, no, we've got to put on pajamas and open gifts. And I was hot and sweaty.
Right.
It was crazy.
So I do remember, and I remember it because I wasn't here.
Yeah.
So I'm annoyed at this. But it was the Christmas that Joy and I decided to go to North Carolina.
Yeah.
And we had snow for Christmas. I was not happy. 20 years being here in Maryland, and the 1 year got snow at Christmas.
Oh.
I was not here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joy may never have heard the end of that and may never will hear the end of it.
Hey, dude, the good thing is it'll happen again in the next 20 years. Right. So you just got to wait maybe 2 decades. It's fine. I know it is always disappointing. Although as a kid, I remember, I'm not making a comment on global warming or anything.
Right.
People would debate scientists, Christians or Christian scientists or whomever. But I remember getting some snows in November.
Yeah.
Decent ones.
Yep.
But even back then, the 70s and 80s, Christmas seemed to be the Houdini. It never quite matched.
Right.
We got one time, like on the 23rd.
Yep.
So there was still some residual snow on the 25th, which was nice. But I never remember, like in every sitcom you ever saw as a kid.
Right.
Oh, it snows on Christmas Eve and it blankets everything. I never remember that. You got to be up your neck of the woods to get that happen. But dude, New Year's.
Yeah.
What was your tradition this year, like most years?
Yeah. So typically, did the same thing this year that we do every year. We invite some friends and family to come over to the house. We set up and play games. Whatever we do for dinner is always up in the air. Some years we do fondue.
Yeah.
Some years we do a big thing of chili. Some years we do appetizers. Yeah. So it's all over the place what we end up doing for food, but something fairly light and easy.
Yeah.
But getting people over, playing games, watching movies, and then it's interesting because on most nights when I'm on break, I will stay up fairly late.
Yeah.
1, 2 in the morning.
Yeah, you're a night owl, dude. I think I've known that about you for a while.
Yeah. New Year's is the one where as soon as midnight hits, I'm like, I'm kind of done. I'm ready for bed.
Yeah, right.
And it's just automatic. I think probably I could count on one hand the number of New Year's that I've just kind of gone up and stayed much later
till
past
3 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
Yeah, doing whatever, but normally it's midnight rolls around, and I think part of it is because of the nature of having people over. Mm-hmm. You have all the energy and all the build up, and you're playing games and you're watching movies and you're doing all those things, and then once midnight hits, it's like, okay, it's time, for the younger kids to go to bed. Families are heading out the door and going home. Let's take a half hour, clean this place up, and then turn in ourselves.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I like your description, dude, because we tend to do those things too, and I almost need to do them. I don't, but Lisa shares this with me, who does not have the winter funk blues that I usually have. She normally fares better than I do in the winter, but we both share. I don't know if you've ever felt this. Maybe it's just our thing. There's almost a weird sadness to New Year's for me sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe it's just a reminder of the that we're passing through.
Yeah.
The years. I know it's a depressing cliche. Oh, I'm a year closer to, you know what, and this phase ending. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a time of, there's always probably a post-holiday letdown.
Yeah.
Because, dude, the pace going into Christmas, isn't it frenetic?
Yeah.
You're just constantly doing things, parties, keeping up with people. You barely have time to even process it.
Yep.
And then I've come to love those few days after Christmas.
Yeah.
That where things kind of shut down. And for you, dude, as a teacher, you're off.
Yep.
And they're just kind of nice. You know, it's you got that little week that you can kind of use as a buffer and everything. And I've enjoyed that week. But usually by the 30th, 31st, I don't know. I get this kind of melancholy.
Yeah. I think a lot of that too is really, I mean, Christmas will kind of extend.
Yes.
Right. So that really I love the Christmas season.
Yeah.
My birthday's in December, and I know a lot of people who have December birthdays say they don't like it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love having my birthday as close to Christmas as it is.
Which is what again, dude?
23rd.
That's right. I was going to say 24th, but you are the 23rd.
Yeah, actually, my family's kind of weird because...
Happy belated birthday, brother.
Thank you.
Of course.
I have a sister who is the 21st.
Yeah.
I'm the 23rd. Maybe she's the 22nd. 21st to 22nd. My sister's the 21st to 22nd.
Hopefully she's not listening.
She's not. I can guarantee it.
Yeah.
I'm the 23rd, and my brother is the 25th.
Man!
So we are all within that Christmas week. And
wow.
My brother hates having his birthday on Christmas Day. He can't stand sharing with Jesus.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, ashamed of Jesus, doesn't want to. Let's make sure to tell him that, make that very clear.
It's actually, it's funny because it's become a joke, but with a lot of truth behind it. You have to wish him a happy birthday before you can say Merry Christmas.
That's hilarious, dude.
So
that's funny.
But I love it. I love having my birthday at this time. I always have. It was 2 days before Christmas, so it was still far enough before Christmas where I could have friends over for my birthday.
Yeah, sure.
So I enjoy it. I enjoy the lead up. I enjoy the holiday, and you get that even after Christmas.
Yeah.
That week, radio stations are still playing Christmas music. The festivities of things are still in full swing because you've got all the parties that are leading up to New Year.
Yep.
And I think you're right. I think there's something more final about New Year's where we're putting an end to all of this and we're starting it all over again before we get to Christmas again next time.
You're right. And you really are heading into some blah months now. Hopefully, dude, Ravens had a decent season. Hopefully they will make a little progress. That doesn't mean much for you, but for me, that kind of gets me through. And then my buddy Scott, and I always talk about when do pitchers and catchers report. And then you hope springs eternal as you look towards spring. But it is a melancholy thing. And I imagine, for a lot of people, dude, I'm sure it's a taking stock.
Oh, sure.
What did this year bring? Yeah. Obviously, for us, 2023 brought one of the sadder years we've had in some time, losing Lisa's mother. And I think of how many people go through that in a given New Year's moment. I think it's a natural time to take stock of what was.
Yes.
And let's face it, I wonder if some of it is, when do we ever accomplish all that we hope to accomplish? Probably that would be a never. Right. So whenever you're taking stock, even in what you might deem a good year, there were things you didn't hit. There were goals maybe you didn't quite, even if you weren't super conscious of what they were, some aspirations that carry you through a given day or season might not have been met. So, and then, dude, maybe some of the actually for me, dude, I grew up with Dick Clark's Rocking Eve.
Yeah.
He's gone.
He's gone.
He's passed. And dude, when even he was here, you remember, it was sad. He had the stroke.
Yeah, he had the stroke.
And he, it wasn't the Dick Clark you remembered.
Right.
This youthful guy that seemed to just never age.
Yeah.
And, he was just going to be there every New Year's, and you were going to watch the cheesy ball drop and all that. And I still do watch the ball drop. Do you?
Oh, yeah. Yep. So, 11:55.
That's about what we do.
Putting it on
about 5 minutes before. That's so funny. Yeah, same thing. And you're watching. I'm not even sure with our cable provider if the time's right. I always feel like my phone might be a minute 45 seconds off or something, but it's close enough for government work.
Yeah, as long as you're within that 5 minute mark, you're bound to catch it. But I think there's something to that too, right? Because and this is I'm gonna sound like a real old head here.
Yeah, go for it, brother.
I mean, who do we got hosting these things, right? Ryan Seacrest.
Right.
And then you've got Miley Cyrus and Britney Spears and all these performers. And it's like, I don't know. First of all, and again, I'm really going to sound old here. The music that they're doing just is not my taste. I mean, for crying out loud, put Bruno Mars up there. I'll take Bruno Mars.
Me too, brother. Although he's starting to get classic.
I know.
I know what you mean.
It's just it's not the same form. It's honestly it's like the Super Bowl, right? The halftime show used to be fun, used to be entertaining.
Right.
Most of the time, if I'm at a Super Bowl with people, almost everyone unanimously wants to turn it off during the halftime show.
I'm with you.
Nobody wants to see it.
I'm with you. It's not. I mean, at the time, he is now quite tragically a controversial figure. But when he was not, talking about Michael Jackson, did the halftime show, that was like a big deal.
Yeah.
You get this mega current performer to do it. Now it's sort of become, I know what you mean. I see it on New Year's too. Either people that I don't like their stuff at all, or maybe people on the downside of their careers.
Right.
That can be kind of depressing. And dude, I think weird stuff. Those people in Times Square. Okay, I've been told that all the public bathrooms are closed.
Right.
So what do they do?
Right.
Hope you.
They don't do anything.
Yes.
They don't eat. They don't drink for like 24 hours before.
Dude, and what kind of New Year's is that?
Right.
But I remember seeing an article. I feel like one of my high school teachers, it was probably 1984, 85. There was an article in the Baltimore Sun that one of my English teachers in high school, Mr. Link, showed us of a family. How weird is this? Who booked a room in Times Square for New Year's Eve, 1999, going into 2000. And they did it like 16 years before. So I remember that feeling like the most futuristic thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that came to its realization 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So again, when I think of New Year's, I think, boy, a lot of time has passed. And but having friends over or doing something fun, we tend to like to watch a movie because we're a big movie family. We'll play some games. The kids wish I played more games. Dude, I'm the most petty, competitive person that I've kind of adopted this practice my father had. My dad, how much do I talk about my dad?
Yeah.
Wonderful father. Dude, he didn't really play games.
Yeah.
Would coach sports.
Yep.
Scrabble, nope. Cards, nope. And as I've gotten older, I realized he had an issue with competition. So at some point, he kind of made a decision. I don't want to be tense, etc.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Every time if I play a game, I want to win it.
I need to get you some games, some co-op games. There are some good co-op games out there that you're playing with people, and so the goal is you're beating the game.
Yes.
So you're at least then working together.
You work together. Oh, that's a good idea, dude. You're not trying to beat each other.
Yeah, yeah. The next time we do our game night with the Bartle Balls, I'll bring over some of those games because that's the goal. Like you're working together, you're strategizing together.
I like that.
So and I enjoy competitive games as well. I enjoy the Take Over the World, Risk, Axis and Allies type thing. But I really like co-op games where, all right, guys, this is your strength, so let's work together, and this is my strength. Let's work together to accomplish this goal. So
I like it. Dude, that's what it reminds me of. It's true. Wow. Dude, I'm taking this insight with atomic ripple effect energy because the kids, I know I disappoint them, so I try to overcome it. I don't know what it is. I never have fun playing people and losing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. I'm losing a Monopoly. I keep ending up in jail and everybody else is buying properties. Why am I enjoying this?
Right.
Yes, I'm petty and pathetic, but it's true. I need a savior. I'd like to reiterate that. But the times we've done 2 escape rooms as a family.
Yeah.
One we beat, one we didn't.
Yep.
We had a great time at both.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing it's what you're describing.
Yeah.
You're not competing with each other.
Yeah.
You're competing against the game.
Yeah.
Ooh!
I got your back, Jack.
Dude, I'm going to drop that as a preaching insight somewhere. Of course, I'll take credit for it.
Well,
I'll say, I was telling my buddy Nathan recently.
I expect nothing less. But the good news is, Greg, your congregation knows you.
That's true. Yep. Yeah, I can't put anything past them, especially the ones that may be listening to this. So you'll know if I drop my reference that I did not give it to Nathan. I got it from him. But that's cool, dude. I think now I'm going to ask you the question because it's a New Year's podcast.
Yeah.
Did you or do you do any resolutions?
I don't.
Yeah.
And here's why. I learned long ago that if I wait, whatever it is, right? So, all right, my goal this year is to read scripture more. Yeah. My goal this year is to lose 10 pounds or 20 or 30 or 40, 50, whatever I need to get healthy.
You're describing my goals, dude, but yes.
If I do that, then first what I'm doing is I'm waiting for that date to come.
Yeah.
And let's say I start out good, I get 10, 20, let's say I get a month in.
Yeah.
Right? I'm doing great. I've got a month of this going down. And then I have a bad day.
Yeah.
There goes my resolution.
Yep.
So I find that if there's something I want to change and I'm motivated, I'm going to start now.
Yeah.
Because it's got to become a habit. It's got to become a part of my life.
Yep.
And if that's going to be the case, then January 1st isn't going to make a difference.
Yep.
If I start then or if I start now. And so there are times where, and Greg, you've actually, you've known me at probably a time in my life when I was the most fit I've ever been. Not the thinnest I've ever been, but the most fit I've ever been.
Yeah.
And I wasn't waiting until January 1st. Like, Christmas came around and I was still holding to, I'm going to eat in moderation or I'm going to eat like a cow and then I'm going to go work out like crazy afterwards.
Right.
But it wasn't a January 1st thing. It was, I want to start this and I want to do it now and get on this track. So that way, once holidays come around, I want to stay focused and work myself through that.
There's a lot of insight in what you're saying, dude, because it reminds me of what is said. I've never confirmed that he said this, although I actually think he did. The Augustine quote prior to his conversion, when he knew about God but didn't know God, so to speak, and he was quite the ladies' man.
Yeah.
And the prayer was, Lord, make me chaste.
Yeah.
But not yet.
Yeah.
That's kind of what a resolution, like say you got this revolution floating around your mind December 14th.
Yeah.
December 14th. You're kind of saying, yeah, I'm going to do nothing about this thing that I think is really important for 17 days. Right. Dude, that is a great point. This is so important. The next 17 days, I'm going to gorge myself.
Right.
Like I'm on the survival team at Cactus Willie's buffet, and the only way to save the universe is to eat every morsel of food under the sneeze glass. But January 1st, yeah,
all bets are off.
It's kind. You know what it reminds me of, dude? I remember Lisa said it one time, and she had me so. I was all motivated. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to drink bottled water and nothing else except one day a week I'll have a flavored drink. Ridiculous, right? All this motivation, and I can do that for a day.
Right.
But I was going to do the gym. We were going to wait for the good sales post-Christmas, when you get in and no activation fee, and had everything planned. So we go over to Dick's Sporting Goods, and I buy like some new, sweat clothes.
Right.
My joggers and my sweatshirt. Oh, this would be good. And, new pair of shoes, tennis shoes. And we're driving home, and Lisa goes, You think that you've started because you bought the clothes. And she's right. I'm like, that's exactly what I thought. I bought the clothes, dude. So I'm serious.
That's right.
I bought the clothes. Like, is there anything easier than to go buy your Reebok stripe down the side sweatpants when you get your fat lard butt in the gym and go to work? Of course, in my case, I don't really. That's the one part of me that isn't fat, but everything else. So I hear you.
Yeah.
No, I hear you on the resolutions. It's sort of like, this is really important. That's why I'm going to wait for, another 4.5 weeks. And when that day gets here, there's nothing magic about the date.
Yeah.
I understand why people want to tie it to, well, then I can say I did it all year, but
right.
Which usually means you do it to about January 8th or something like that. That's interesting, dude. Yeah, I haven't made a resolution in years. But I've done like you have. I've made resolutions.
Yeah.
But I haven't tied them to a date.
Yeah.
I just sort of view it, all right, I'm going to do this.
Right.
I'm committed. I'm going to spend more time with my younger two.
Yeah.
Because I've been so busy, I've kind of seen them in passing. And, I don't want to wait. Yeah, I think I'll start that. Like,
right.
I don't do that in the mid-year point. Like, well, it's June 17th. I should wait till July 1st. You just do it.
Yeah.
It's living in the everlasting now.
Right.
Right. What's the best thing I can do at this moment in this day? Right.
Yeah.
And I think Scripture would certainly support that. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, today is the day, and
Right.
Present your bodies as living sacrifices.
Right.
That's not tied to a calendar.
Yep.
Do it the next time a feast or festival comes up. So I'm not, and I know you're not either, dude.
Sure.
I'm not mocking people that tie it to January 1st. But I never thought of that, dude. I think, or not consciously until you said it.
Yeah. Well, and again, that's the thing is like, I think particularly the number of times I've looked at reading scripture.
Yeah.
Wanting to, okay, I'm gonna daily be in the Word. I'm going to daily pray, and this is when I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. Very regimented. And I think all the times that I've kind of made that resolution, and again, it's not to say I haven't made resolutions in the past, because I certainly have. I've just, as I've gotten older, have found that it doesn't work, right? Because even when it comes to scripture, okay, I've spent this entire year being committed and dedicated to doing X.
Yes.
Well, now X is done.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so I've done my Bible reading plan for the year. I've dedicated these times to prayer and all of this. And so now X is done. And so the goal is accomplished.
Right.
And so then I'm right back where I was.
Yep.
And so, I think like everybody, I have good seasons and I have bad seasons.
Yeah.
That yes, I want to be in the Word daily.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Right.
I
can't relate to it.
Right.
Theoretically,
That's right.
I've heard this happens to some people. So glad I don't have to worry about these creaturely things that you do. But let's go on.
Well, and in fairness, I am in the Word daily because I teach Bible class.
Right.
But personally,
yeah.
There are certainly days and even weeks where my time for scripture is devoted to my class and not personal.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that I don't gain anything personal from that? Absolutely not. I mean, by God's grace, I'm learning and growing through the things that I'm reading and seeing, but it's not for me necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that there is an important distinction and distinctive in that, that when I tie things to a time frame, and again, this is me personally, I tie things to a time frame. Yeah, I can be disciplined enough to get through that, but first of all, I'm not going to be disciplined enough to say, okay, I'm going to now do this from now until the rest of my life.
Right.
And then if my goal is to do X in a year, then when the year's done, it just falls apart.
Now, dude, I didn't post it this year, but the past on Facebook or Twitter, whatever thing I might, dally with for a season, I did, you've seen it before. There always is one resolution I break that I have. And, normally I usually post it about 10 seconds into the new year that I already broke my resolution to try to be less awesome. I just broke it. I tried to be less awesome.
That's right.
I remember I did that years ago. I saw it on somebody else and said, I love that, man. It's so stupid. And I'll post it. And I remember my brother saw it on Facebook. A couple of people, just kind of rolled their eyes at it or whatever, said some passing comment. I just remember my brother just wrote, resolution intact. Yeah, who did I see? It was like a comedian like Dave Barry or something.
Oh, yeah.
Just so funny.
Yeah.
Man. And they posted it at like literally 30 seconds after, the ball dropped. I already broke my resolution to try to be less awesome. I dropped that to Lisa, to which she literally has no comment or response, which makes it even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, and I think there, in a seriousness, there can be a kind of almost an empty promise pull to resolutions. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, again, I'm not saying don't make them. I mean, that Jonathan Edwards, the sort of America's most famous theologian, was famed for these resolutions that he would make. He, again, didn't tie them to dates or times.
Yeah.
The kind of a renewed principle. These are some things I want to live by. They have some good things to them. But I I'm just such a believer in, and I when I preach this, I always illustrate it the same way. We don't keep our resolutions. We don't keep our commitments. Yeah, we used to have a convention called Promise Keepers, but we're not promise keepers. Right? We're promise makers and promise breakers.
Yeah.
Right? That's by definition, because we all the time, we're like Peter, even if everyone leaves you, I'll never leave. I'm going to leave. Right? I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. Just a way of capturing sin. So I want to be careful. Resolutions are good if they're understood as maybe Spirit-born responses to the gospel.
Sure.
Right? Like, the gospel declares I'm righteous, and by his mercies, I can present my body as a living sacrifice.
Yep.
But I'm going to need that mercy tomorrow, because whatever I seek to do, I'm going to screw up at some level. Right? We all do.
Yeah.
I mean, what day would you ever say, dude, today I was the perfect husband to Joy, without any flaw? Yeah.
Good day, 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yes. This 30 seconds, I was perfect. Lisa might say, well, you did take out the trash and you were not in the house for 30 seconds. So that was, maybe it's something like that. But, I'm just illustrating. We know that's just and that's why I love the promise of the gospel.
Yes.
That he's made a resolution.
Yes.
To love us and keep us.
Yes.
And hold us. So that's something I like to revisit in the new year. And in the past, when I've done New Year's preaching, this year it's different, because the first sermon this week will be Matt, because I will be at the writer's residency.
Yes.
But through the amazing abilities we have, dude, I think we'll still have a podcast when I'm gone.
I think so.
Somehow we're going to find a way to pull that off.
Dude, we're talented like that.
We can do it. We can find a way. I can be up in Wilkes-Barre.
We have the technology.
We can rebuild this podcast and make it work. But, when I've preached in the past on New Year's, I've tended to go more, let's just remind ourselves of the gospel.
Yeah.
He's made a promise. He's kept it.
Yeah.
That's, dude, remember how we started off our Christmas series?
Yeah.
Genesis 3:15.
That's right.
He made a promise, and he kept it. We just celebrated that season individually and as a church. So let's just carry that into the new year.
Yeah.
He's going to keep his promises.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's made several resolutions for our good, and he'll keep them.
Yeah.
And I'll give it a shot to go to Planet Fitness.
Right.
Dude, I'll meet you at Dairy Queen the next day.
That's right.
Right. Actually, that day.
That day. Yeah. That's right. That's right. That's right. We'll go out the door on our way to Planet Fitness and head to Dairy Queen, and that's where we'll spend our time.
Exactly. Yes. But I'll be wearing my Reebok sweatsuit.
Nice.
So that way I feel like,
you're ready to go. You at least look the part.
Yes. And after I have the Butterfinger Blizzard, dude, I'll walk the circuitous route to my car.
That's right.
Because that'll take care of those calories.
That's right. Unless it's raining out.
Right. Yeah. Then you can pick me up at the front door. That's true.
Well, man, we don't have a ton of time left, but I want to ask you, coming into the new year. So again, we've talked about the idea of, resolutions and things like that. But let me ask you this. What are you looking forward to or hoping for or expecting in the new year? Like, what are some things that you're kind of looking ahead and saying, what, I'm excited about these things?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. A couple things. I mean, on a personal level, I'm excited that I started this grad program. I started last year this time.
Yep.
It is kind of an accelerated program. I'll have my Master of Arts in Creative Writing, Lord willing.
Yep.
In June.
Nice.
Which is awesome.
Nice.
And then in June, I'll have to make a decision. Do I want to do the full year and get the Master of Fine Arts, which is terminal in creative writing? You can't, creative writing doesn't have a PhD.
Yep.
So it's as far as you could go. So, I'm looking forward to that. Residency's on the brain because I'm about to leave.
Yep.
See my cohort, they've become very good friends. This will be our third one together.
Yep.
And then the fourth in the summer where I'll get the MA. I'm excited about that. What else, dude? I'm excited for my kids. Ben, in this calendar year, will finish Maryland because he's on pace to graduate a semester early, so it would be December. So, you know, at very end of this year, as we kind of circle back to about this time we're in now. I'm excited for him in that regard. Isaac will be starting his senior year in the fall. Wrapping up his junior year this year, and Ella will be moving in. So the family level's got a lot of fronts. For Lisa, you know, my wife, I'm already seeing it form. You know, it was a very difficult 2023, the second half for her. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her. I don't want to presume, you know, the grief is always going to be there.
Sure.
Reminds me of the great quote, I can't remember who said it, but never trust someone unless they walk with a limp.
Yeah.
Because people have lived real life, suffered, you know, and we talk about that all the time. But I'd like to see what 2025 or 2024, I'm way ahead of the game, brings for her.
Yeah.
So a lot of things on that front are lining up. And my parents, dude, may be moving into a retirement community.
Okay.
You know, this coming year.
Yeah.
So, it should be a pretty packed, busy year. On the church front, dude, I'm really looking for, I mean, Matt Smith will have been here for 5 years this summer. It's hard to believe, you know. I mean, it's been 5 years. It feels like a whole universe of change has happened. That was pre-pandemic.
That was pre-pandemic. And
when he got here. So I'm excited about some milestones. You know, as we just finished our 20th anniversary year this past fall. Heading into a new chapter. Really excited about what lies ahead. And dude, I'm giving a lot. I'm excited about our podcast.
Yes.
I think this year we are really going to raise the bar on promotion. We've got, I don't want to give too much away, but we have some ideas of a different venue, different setting. And I'm pumped, dude. Because these conversations we have, dude, they're gold.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that as well.
I was going to say, please tell me.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm looking forward to just. I feel like every time we do the podcast, we figure new things out. We get better at it. You and I have always had great chemistry together. We work so well together on this. And so just being able to get that out to more people where we could just interact like this. And again, being able to use this to further the gospel.
Yeah.
So excited to be able to do that.
I love it, dude. I just love the realness, dude.
Yeah.
We're not trying to like promote something slick or special.
Yeah.
Just talking about life honestly.
Yeah.
You know, kind of our tagline, unchurchy, real.
Yeah.
And just that the gospel is always good.
Yeah.
It always informs everything we talk about.
Yes.
In such a unchanging, powerful way.
Yeah. And it again, it's authentic.
Yeah.
Right. It's just, this is who we are. This is what we do. And we, you know, we have our little podcast gimmicks because we're a show.
Of course.
But the reality is the gospel has no gimmicks.
No.
Right. For over 2,000 years, the message of the gospel is the Son of God laying bare on a cross for you and me.
Yep.
And that's it. And that, you know, by God's grace, that will always be what it is.
It's the only message, dude.
So,
I mean, really, where else? I'm like, think of Peter in John 6, right? We've talked about that passage many times. Jesus teaches some hard things. A lot of the kind of fair weather fans, I think I'm out.
Yeah.
He's talking about pretty heavy duty stuff.
Yeah.
And Jesus turned, will you now go too? And Peter says, where else would we go?
Yeah.
You have the words. I love that, dude.
Yeah.
Like once you taste it, well, where else am I going to go?
Right.
Secular humanism?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like where are you going to go?
Yeah.
Once you've encountered him and know him. So, I just love always coming back to that foundation, dude. I think we got an exciting year.
I do too, yeah.
Next week, we'll kind of formally kick off the rest of January.
Yeah, and you know, so, I mean, this is a good time to talk about that. Where you're getting us back into, well, once you get back from residency, you're going to be getting us back into Mark.
That's right.
And we're going to be talking about Mark. But one of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be having a discussion on. I think the first place we're going is, how do we as a congregation prepare you?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You know, what can we do for you as you're spending time preparing, and as you're working through your sermons and the research? I mean, the research that you do. How is it that we can be partnering with you and working with you on that, because we're a community together. We're in this together.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be talking to us and giving us a little peek behind the curtain of what you do to prepare.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what that process looks like. And then some reflection on what can we do once we've heard the message? Yeah. What is our response to that? So really, this is congregationally, how do we respond to, or how should we be responding to this whole process of church, of worship?
Yeah. And dude, you know, Jesus, it's interesting. I heard a sermon years ago from someone called How to Listen to a Sermon.
Yeah.
And I think there is an art and a skill to be learned. And we might even talk about, what do you do when you listen to a boring sermon? Now, obviously, brother, you would say, well, that's not your experience here. You've never...
No.
You're like, no, Dutcher, you? Are you kidding me? But we've all had to hear some boring sermons. I know I've given my share. I know we've heard it. And there are times you're like, oh, my goodness, I feel like I just want to disappear into and then you feel kind of guilty. I shouldn't feel like this person loves you, Lord, and I'm trying to serve. We'll talk about that too, but I'm actually looking forward to January, because I am getting us back into Mark, which I can't wait for. Dude.
Yeah.
We'll be right in Mark 5. That starts with a very dynamic power encounter moment with Jesus. You can glance ahead and see it will be right back in the thick of it, because we've left it for about a year.
Yeah.
About a year, a little longer than we intended. We did some things in the summer that we sort of pivoted on, and I'm glad we did.
Well, I mean, you know, once we got it through our heads that we were celebrating 20 years, we kind of decided that we should.
We should. Yeah, that actually is the key. The 20-year mark was like, you know, that requires, or should call forth, some purposeful celebration response, how we think about it. And I'm sure glad that we did.
Oh, absolutely.
And we'll do that again in 20 years from now,
that's
too.
Right.
But we don't have to worry about that for now. And we did that in the fall and focused on some things, but we'll be getting back into Mark. So it's a good time to talk about, you know, what am I, as an individual person going to a church, whether it's here or wherever you go, is there a responsibility I have? And I think there is. There's some healthy practices about how to be the best sermon listener. As to your question, how you can pray for your pastor or whomever is delivering the message that they work on, what you can do to support, maybe a little bit about what's not helpful.
Right.
Little hint, if you have a frustration, I always love when people wait to maybe share it till Monday. I know sometimes it's burning, but I have been caught sometimes. And dude, when you walk off the platform, you're kind of spent.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're like, whoo, man, it's hard to get your thoughts.
Half the time you don't even remember what you said.
No.
So, when you said this, did I say that?
Did I say that? Really? That was today?
Right.
I've already forgotten. So, there's some things we could talk about that I think some are kind of funny.
Yeah.
Some are kind of serious, and some are just practical tips and techniques. So I think we're going to have a good month unpacking this.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really looking forward to that. And again, like we said, just what we have coming up this year, there's a lot of big plans, and, Lord willing, we will start to see those unfold, not only for this podcast, but for our church as well.
Absolutely.
So, well, my friend, this has been an excellent time talking about the new year.
Great start.
So until the next time, we just rock the Casbah.
Thank you again for listening to These Go to 11, an unchurchy conversation about everyday faith.
Once again, please make sure you like, subscribe, and review on your favorite podcast platform. And if you ever find yourself in the Forest Hill, Maryland area, please feel free to stop by at 135 Industry Lane, and you can get all of our service times and information at christfc.org.
These go to 11.